and we're going to get started. So thanks everybody for joining me. My name is Jeanette McLeod and I'm a Platinum Leader with Young Living. Let me see if I can set this. All right. So tonight on The Juice with Jeanette, we are going to talk about launching your business, but the reason this is important is because this is really beneficial for people who have been in it for a year or two or even 3 years, because I find myself even coming back to some of these things, that it really boils down to us just needing to get back to the basics. So when you're launching your business, the one thing that I like to think about is it being like an airplane. So some people think to themselves when they start the business, you know, I'm just going to do a little bit and see how it goes. I'm going to see where it goes from here. You know, whatever unfolds is great. And having a passive attitude can be okay if that's what you choose. But ultimately, if you have an airplane and you're going down the runway, the only way to really get off the ground is to get that speed and that momentum so that you can take off. A plane never leaves the ground by putzing down the runway. So if you think about it like that, the best time to really start your business is fast and really with a lot of intention and doing things quickly so that you can get that momentum, hold that momentum, and essentially take off and get into the air. So thinking of it that way, we can also look at this as though we're refreshing our business. So if we've been in it for a while and nothing seems to be happening or it's stagnant, then we need to apply these same principles to our business, where we need to actually hit the runway and we need to put some speed behind it so that we can take off into the air and gain some momentum with our business. So one way to do that is to book sessions. And that is really how our business operates, is by booking sessions. So I'm going to talk to you about what booking sessions look like. I'm going to share my screen with you so that you can see. Here I have in the Royal Family Manual, launch session. And here it talks about writing down 2 dates that work for you. And now, if you're having difficulty finding people to host sessions for you, then have them at your house. If you're launching your Young Living business, that's the very first thing you do after your prospect list is done. You're going to book 2 days at your house that you can have people over. I don't see why this should be any different if you've been 3 years into the business. Okay, my business needs to recharge and refuel, so I'm going to book 2 sessions at my house, and now my job is to get people in those seats. So what we want to do is pick those 2 dates. The reason we have 2 dates is because when I say, hey, Susan, would you like to come and listen about essential oils, I'm doing it on Tuesday this week, and I'm doing it on Wednesday next week. Which can you come to? It's not the traditional, I'm having a party on Tuesday night, can you come? Yes or no. You're really telling her by saying, I'm having one this day and one this day, when can you come? Which one can you come to? Then you're kind of, forcing her to choose a date and come. One thing that I've noticed, it shows these people, is that you're super serious about having them listen about what you have to share. It's not just a fly-by-night thing or, a quote-unquote party. It's something that you'd really like them to hear. So that's definitely something that I recommend to you, whether you're launching your Young Living business or you're refreshing your Young Living business, is to book 2 sessions at your own house and have people come. I'm just going to scroll down. Then you can start asking people. I was talking to some people and they said, well, nobody's going to host, nobody's going to host. Everybody says no. And this is when you need to pull out some of the stops. Maybe you do need to offer an incentive, a free bottle of thieves cleaner for them to host a session. Or maybe you do need to do a trade show. Maybe you do need to get innovative and resourceful about how you're finding people and branching out into your network of people. Bottom line is that you want to genuinely be interested in people, though. So you want to make sure that you don't have any more intention other than a relationship. You want to have a relationship with these people, and you want to nurture that, and you want to water that, because eventually they are going to want to hear about Young Living, and they are going to want to join you in your Young Living business. But booking your 2 sessions and having them over to your house, filling your own seats, prospecting, no matter where you are, no matter if you're star, senior star, executive silver, gold or platinum or diamond, this is how our business operates. So prospecting and booking at your house for others to come. The other good thing about this is that you can ask people to bring people. So if I already have a serious builder who is having trouble getting traction and they can't fill the seats in their house, I, as the leader, am going to host a session and say, why don't you bring a friend? When I first started, that's what I did, is I said, you know what, I'm going to host. And I made sure I had one of my own people there. And then I invited other leaders in my organization. And I said, now you bring 2 people. And then all of a sudden I had 8 people in my house to share with. And it was a little bit more low key. So they didn't feel the whole pressure of having to fill their living room. They could just bring their 1 or 2 prospects to my house, let me run it. And then that's also third-party validation. So keep that in mind as a leader. If you're like, well, I can't fill my own house and my people can't fill all their houses, then you do it as the leader and invite them all over it and invite them to bring friends. I've even done that when I've said to somebody, would you like to come hear about it? I'm doing it these 2 days. And if you bring a friend, I'll give you a free hand purifier. That's perfect. It's a little incentive for them to bring a friend along. And then so they get a little bonus and they get to hear about the oils. So when we're doing our home sessions, we do have a script in the Royal Family Manual to follow. It doesn't have to be exact. It has to definitely be your own. But the script is a great way to stay on task. And it's a great, like, kind of just checklist of things that you want to make sure you talk about. Making sure you talk about seed to seal, making sure you talk about the do's and don'ts. And also it's a great way just to check yourself to stay compliant and that kind of thing. So definitely check out the Royal Family Manual for the script. But, you know, the one thing I really want to hit home with you tonight, when you're doing a home session, you've booked your 2 home sessions, you're going to be that airplane, you're going to launch, you're going to go, you're going to hit the ground running, and you're going to get yourself off the ground. Now that you have people at your home session, don't be a bore. You want to keep it nice and simple, fairly light and airy. And what I'm saying here is, please don't be the expert. Don't be the expert. You are a facilitator of information. You're not an expert. So don't feel bad. Try and definitely be comfortable in saying, you know what? Great question. I don't know. Let's look together. Let's find out. Let me see if I can find that information for you. So don't be the expert. And the other thing is, PowerPoint presentations are awesome, but not in a home session. PowerPoint presentations are great in a classroom, are great in a big event, but not in home sessions when you're just trying to relate to people, when you're just trying to build a relationship with people. You want to get to know them. Ultimately, you want to see what their needs are, and you want to try and meet them. So being a teacher at the front of the room with a PowerPoint clicker is going to make a yawn fest and have them fall asleep. And the other thing that's going to do is realize that they can't duplicate that. That's not duplicable. That's not natural sharing. That's not easy to do. Other people are going to look at that and say, I don't know how to make a PowerPoint. There's no way I could ever do this. She knows a ton. There's no way I could ever know all the things Jeanette knows. I want this to look as simple as humanly possible, where I can just show up with my box of oils and say, hey, smell this, put this on the back of your neck. Isn't that great? This is what I use it for. And they're going, hey, that was easy. So I really want you, like, I'm not trying to sound harsh here. I just really want you to know what other leaders have done, what's worked and what hasn't. And the PowerPoint presentations haven't worked. Formality hasn't worked. This is a people business. We want people, like I said before, we just want to relate to people. We want to know what needs they have and how we can help them meet those needs. So that's really our goal. Sitting around the kitchen table, sitting out on the patio, sitting around the living room, being comfortable, letting them look through product guides, letting them pass things around and add. That's really what we're going for. If you are a product expert or you think, I can't launch my business because I don't know enough, throw that thinking out the window. You know enough. If you have a Young Living kit, you know enough. You will know enough to share with people and just do it in a sincere and genuine way. So just be as natural as possible. But like following the script is great, but it must be from you. It must be from the heart. It must be the way you would say it. I've read things lots of times where I'm like, oh, there's no way that sounds like Jeanette would say it. That's okay. Then eat the fish, spit out the bones. Just take what you need and run with it, but definitely don't overdo it, right? Because we want people to feel empowered and in charge and capable. That's our goal. We want people to feel capable. We want to show them the app so they can look at it. We want to show them the resources so they can look at it. We want to encourage them to Google. We want to encourage them to look at those kinds of things themselves. So just as a quick recap, tonight we're discussing the launching. So again, it's like the airplane. Whether you are starting your Young Living business or you're refreshing your Young Living business, I encourage you, look in February, set 2 dates. Set 2 dates, you know, put that big, hairy, audacious goal in front of you and say, I'm going to set 2 dates in January, and by the grace of God, I'm going to get people on my couch, and I am going to do a session, and we're just going to start back to brass tacks, and that's what it's going to look like. If you're brand new, reach out to people. You know, we did last week, we talked about the ultimate memory jogger and script, how you can reach out to people. And tonight I just said, you've got your 2 sessions. I'm having one on this date and one on this date. Which can you make it to? And then you can just roll from there. Or would it be better if I came to you? Would you like to do coffee? Remember, they don't just have to be sessions. They can be one-on-ones. It can look like anything. So I want you as a Young Living distributor to feel empowered that this is your business. You can make it look like however you want it to. But the bottom line is, it has to come from a place of sincerity. It has to be natural, and it has to be simple. It cannot be that lesson planned, and I'm a teacher, so I can say that. It can't be that lesson planned, PowerPointed, you know, like, and then we're going to do a learning activity, and then I'm going to give them a, you know, no, we can't, that's not what we're going to do. We're just going to share from the heart, find out what needs they have, and we're going to try and achieve it through that by making them feel empowered and capable. The one word I do like to use is that we are facilitators. We're facilitators for these people. We have a product and we're facilitating to them what they can be using alternatively. That's what we're trying to do, not trying to be the expert, the teacher, the go-to person or whatever, because ultimately for your business, what's going to make you successful is the duplication. So when they look at you and say, oh, well, that was easy. That's exactly what happened. If you know the names Chelsea and Adam, that's exactly what happened. Chelsea went and saw him and goes, oh, I could do it way better than him. And that's what we want. Not that you want to do a horrible job, but you want somebody to look at you and say, yeah, that I could do that. I could totally do that. And find it sharing naturally. So I'm going to cut it there. That's all I wanted to talk to you about tonight. So get your airplane off, whether you've been in it 3 years, 2 years, 1 year, 10 years, it doesn't matter. It really doesn't. Or you're just launching now. Then fire up your jets, run them down the runway, and get yourself off the ground. Get those 2 sessions behind you, and don't be afraid to reach out. I'm going to turn the recording off, and like we did last week, I'm going to hang out. If you have any questions, we can do a little mastermind. And yeah, thanks for joining.